Hey guys, welcome to Wednesday Night Live. Obviously this isn't paint. This is my face. I'm in a really weird mood. Hold on, let me see if I can get the video pulled up on this here computer. Oh, there's my face. Okay, good. So I just didn't feel like painting this week. So I thought we could do a live Q&A session, ask me anything, preferably painting related, but you can really ask me anything. And hey, miss, and I will do my bestest to answer your questions. I'm very tired. Hey, Shauna. Also, this is the first Wednesday of the month, so normally I would be having an art auction tonight, which I'm not. So, for you guys, I am doing a massive Etsy sale. Let me see what I have. Nope, that's something else. Okay. I'm going to post the link here, but I have a special promo code for you guys to give you 45% off of any painting in Etsy, which is like insane. I never do that. Okay, wow. Stacy is getting right into the questions. And Miss Dos. Okay. Give me like, you know what? I'll just answer these two questions and then I'll grab that link for you. Okay. Okay, the questions are, you guys are really anxious. Okay, hold on. All right, so Stacy said, can you resin a vase without a cup turner? Absolutely. Tina, are you able to grab her one of my vase resin videos without a cup turner? Tina can grab you a link to that. You can do it just like upside down on a cup. Okay, Miss Dose, hopefully that's correct, how you say it. It says, I was wondering if primary elements can be mixed with anything other than the product they offer. Yes, I have mixed it with Floetrol and other things. They don't recommend it, but it totally works. So, okay, Sandra, I thought you were offering an online course. Oh, at one time, am I mistaken? No, I have actually quite a few online courses. And that I can get you the link really easily for, which brings me to a good point. I have my latest course coming out. Now, I just have to tell you guys, I did not intend to have all these courses come out, to be perfectly honest. I'm trying to keep up with the demand. So I came out with one course and then people were like, oh, you should do this. You should do this. I want a course on this. So, okay. Came out with another course. Then you should do this. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this will be the last course for the year. But then next year, OMG, some really exciting stuff coming out. So on Thanksgiving, I'm releasing the 50 acrylic pour techniques, and I can already tell you now that there will absolutely be some bonus techniques as well. So super fun coming up with all these fun techniques and videoing them for you guys. Okay. But yeah, that's on a pre-sale, a special pre-sale discount for $47. Like, that's cray. The normal price will be $79. So I just put the link for the courses in the chat box there. Go ahead and get signed up while you can at that special discount price. All right. Jill said, what do you seal your coasters with? I seal my coasters with resin because it is heat resistant. And I did previously seal some with like just the gloss spray, the Rust-Oleum. And even though I did multiple coats, gave it plenty of cure time, etc., it still left the ring marks from a hot cup. The one I didn't try is the engine enamel, but I really feel like it would have the same result. And so I prefer resin. Seems like the best. So I go with that. All right. Lori said, love your videos. Have to create one of my own. Thank you very much. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting some ketchup here. All right. Mama D. Angel Meadows, I want to make a night sky, dark background, points of light. I'm going to put a white foundation, but the point of light, I just want some tiny little dots. Should I put silicone in the white or the dark? I am super sorry. I'm not sure I duplicate that question exactly. If you want a dark background, I would not put a white foundation down. I would just go ahead and put the dark background and then maybe add, if you're trying to go for stars, add stars after that, maybe. If you're trying to go for like a galaxy kind of look, I guess. Okay. So Sandra, I posted the link for all my courses. There's 4 courses on there. One of them is Fluid Art That Sells. So that's on that list there. All right. Carol said, is there something I can pour on glass which is transparent enough to see through it? You could thin down your paint so that it's pretty transparent. You can also use transparent paint or paint that's more translucent. You'll see sometimes on paints, it will specifically say opaque or transparent. Like neons, just off the top of my head, neons tend to be pretty transparent. So I did a vase that was a bunch of neons, and I was able to put a candle or I put some of those fairy lights in it, and it actually made a really pretty, like more like lantern. Or you could use resin. That would be transparent as well. All right. Emma said, when and why did you start doing art? I feel like I came out of the womb with a paintbrush is what I always say. Please hold. I have a London Fog tea latte here. It's pretty darn good. So I've just always been doing art. It's just what I know, what I do. All right. Can you seal ceramic tiles with resin? Yes. Okie dokie. Yeah, don't forget to thumbs up, y'all. And feel free to super chat, super sticker. Okay. Before I get to the next question, though, I wanted to just finish my earlier sentence about normally tonight I would have an art auction. I don't have an art auction. So I put together an extra special sale just for you guys. And it's only valid tonight. And that is on my Etsy. You use the code LIVEVID, and that will get you 45% off of any painting, which is honestly insane. So go ahead and, you would normally be buying some excellent Christmas gifts. Well, you can just do that right on my Etsy store with that code, which will expire by morning. Let me post this in the chat here exactly. It's just the whole thing. Will it let me? Nope. Nope. Please hold. This message is apparently too long. Nope. There we go. Okay. All right, let's continue on with the questions. Thank you, Shauna. All right. Lana Meadows says, what is the best paint to use to do a pour without any cells? Honestly, I would recommend going with one of the pre-mixed pouring paints because those don't generally tend to create cells on their own. My favorite is the Artist Loft Flow Acrylics for that. It's nice and thick and it will give you beautiful lines and generally won't create cells on its own, okay? Jeanette says, can you mix tube paint to pour? Yes, you can use any acrylic paint to pour. And Nessa says, could you add polyacrylic to paints for pouring? Probably. I have not done it though, so I don't feel I can give a very valid answer on that. Okie dokie. Wendy says, with the skins, which is the best glue for making jewelry? Some of your domes have come off. Oh no. I would just research jewelry glues specifically. I have one that I get from a place called Craft Fantastic. I also sometimes use Liquitex Gloss Medium and Varnish. It's non-yellowing. You want to look for something that's non-yellowing and obviously something that's pretty will last for forever. So there are glues that are specifically made for jewelry. You can also use resin too. Ken's mom, when you say thumbs up, do you mean in the comments or under the video? On the video itself. You know how YouTube videos you can like or dislike? I prefer you like, unless you dislike. Either way, it's interaction for me. But the thumbs up definitely make me happier than the thumbs down. All right. Okay. Lana says, what happens if you don't tilt the canvas? Sometimes I like them better before tilted. The main problem that you might run into is if your paint is too thick, it will crack as it dries. And there's kind of a fine line between too thick and not too thick. One way that you can kind of get around that is if you have a very neutral temperature, and I do mean like maybe around, like, let's say like 60, in between 60 and 70 max, like not too hot, not too cold, and like no airflow. It will take your painting like 3 or 4 days to dry, but you will possibly be able to get away with having thicker paint on there. But that's why we tilt. And honestly, I have actually a video coming up on that pretty soon where we're going to kind of test some things. But yeah, also, if you have a really dry environment, like your environment has a lot to do with how your paintings dry. If you're in a humid environment, they're going to take longer, they're going to dry slower. If you're in a really dry environment, dry a lot faster, and therefore more chance of cracking. So there you go. All right, Becky, do you wear a respirator or mask when mixing using Stone Coat countertop epoxy? I do not, but I am not a medical doctor. I don't know you or your body. So I recommend doing your own research on whatever product you're going to use. Also, it's not any Stone Coat product. It's like some of Stone Coat's products I would use a respirator on, but the ones that have 0 VOCs, I have had no issues, but I know that I'm not sensitive to it. Some people are. So if you have any sensitivities, kind of test it out. Use a very well ventilated space either way. And, just be smart about it. Know your own body. Okie dokie. Moving right along. Howdy, y'all. Missy says, can you store the unused paint you have mixed? And if so, store in what type of container? I store mine in plastic bottles with the screw top lids and the spouts. I will mix mine up and can store those in there for months. If you don't have that, you can store them in jars or any container that seals, and it will generally last for a while. Okay. Jeanette says, how would you mix tube paint to pour? I would mix it the same as I mix any other paint. If you go to my playlists, I have several videos on how to mix paint for acrylic pouring. Okay. Lori says, can you give a tutorial on acrylic mixtures? Can you define that for me? Like, what do you mean? Do you mean on like different mediums or how to mix paint, or what do you mean exactly? No worries, Emma. Gorgeous Creation says you're an inspiration woman. Aw, thanks. Thank you so much, Shauna, for the super sticker. All right. Misto says, one last question, I pinky promise. Primary elements, Australian Floetrol or American is best to get the best color? That is a great question. I actually have Australian Floetrol, but I haven't tried it yet. So I'm not sure that I can fully answer that one. Please hold. I'm going to switch legs. I like to sit on my leg. So I'm not sure I can fully answer that. I've only mixed it with the American Floetrol before. Hey, Judes. Okay, so Lori says, yeah, with the mediums. So you would like a video that covers mixing paint with the different pouring mediums, correct? Thank you so much, Becky. I do actually have a video like that on my course, on my online acrylic pouring course, but I can see about making a big video for my YouTube channel. Wow, I got caught up. What is the best way to patch a painting? One canvas was put on the other and took off small pieces of the paint before I got them sealed. Now canvas is showing again in small areas. Great question. I've totally had that issue before. If you can maybe color match it with, it really depends on how much paint came off. Like if it's just like little tiny spots, you can probably color match it. If it's larger spots though, I recommend just embellishing over it. That's probably your best bet. Okay. All right, bye, Miss Dose. Thank you for joining me. Woo, that's 15 minutes. Went by really quick. I was gonna do like a 10-minute video. All right. Any last minute questions? Any questions about my courses? Any questions about the Etsy sale, or any questions about techniques? Also feel free, like any specific, Christmas is coming up, y'all. Any Christmas themed videos you specifically want to see? I got some new ornaments to do. I got some clear acrylic ornaments to do videos with. Ooh, will you have any more paint nights? Yes. I was trying to do one on Halloween that was going to be like the coolest one. And then I ran out of paint. And I had ordered some from Amazon. And it got delivered to the wrong place. It was just traumatic. Yes, I will do some more paint nights. I promise, as soon as I can. Okay, Artfornia. Oh, wait, nope. Beverly. Oh, hold on. Oh, dang. I missed it. Okay, Tina says, are you doing the cards again? The Christmas cards? The holiday cards? I was thinking about it, but I feel like I'm so late already. All right. I'm going to take a quick vote. Do you guys want me to do the holiday cards again? If you didn't experience the holiday cards, you don't know what that is, but I got cards printed and hand wrote. Last year it was like 300 cards. Of course, Linda. All right. Okay. So for you guys, email me. I'll do a video on it later. So if you forget, or if you don't have a pen and paper, don't worry about it. Email me. The email is info@thepainterinYou.com. Please write this down, y'all. In the subject line, this is very important. People don't understand why the subject line is important, so I'm just going to tell you. And they write all kinds of things. The reason the subject line is important is because then I can sort it by subject line. So if you put a different subject in the subject line, your email won't come up in the sort, and then you won't get a card, and then you'll be sad, and then I'll be sad. Okay? So in the subject line, put holiday card 2020. Nothing else. Don't put Christmas. Don't put thanks for the card. Don't put please send me a card. Nothing else. Holiday card 2020. In the body of the email, you can put whatever you want, but just make sure you include your mailing address. I unfortunately don't have the best psychic powers, so if you don't include your mailing address, I have a super hard time getting a card to you. Okay. I'll do another video on this later. But if you send me that information, I will get you a holiday card, okay? All right, back to the questions. Please hold. Okay. Beverly said, how long do you have to dry paint embellished before varnish? So, you can embellish immediately after your pour is dry. Then to varnish, you should wait the full cure time. So about 3 weeks generally, depending on, your temperature and everything. Artfornia says, what is your favorite pour technique? Tree ring. Probably, if I'm being super honest with myself, the Recca ring. Molly's artistry's technique. It's just amazing. Okay. Corey says, what's the best way to make cells? I can't seem to make them at all. What am I missing? I'm not sure what kind of paint and everything that you're using, but if you're using acrylic paint with Floetrol and water, like how I mix my paints, and you're not getting cells, generally the problem is your paint is too thick. So try making it just a little bit thinner and do just a little bit thinner at a time, and you will get cells. Okay. Andrea says, when using resin and putting shells and starfish on top, do you completely envelop? Oh my gosh. Those pieces and resin. You can. You absolutely can, but you don't have to. If I'm doing things, if it's a painting on the wall and I'm doing things and things are going to stick out, I don't generally completely cover it. The only time I completely cover is if it's on like a table or a coaster where you need the surface flat. But for a painting on the wall, I would totally just leave it sticking out. It would be too hard to get that covered. Okay. Ricky says, please give me advice on how to make a good pouring ratio for paint and thinner. Please tell me what you mean by thinner, because I'm not entirely sure. Okie dokie. Mariha? Or Maria? I'm not totally sure. Mariha? Hi, I bought small ceramic ornament to do a pour over. What is a good sealer to put over that? I would just use a spray sealer, probably Rust-Oleum Crystal Clear Enamel Spray. I do have the best moderators ever. Okay. How long have I been doing acrylic pouring? 3.5 years, I want to say. Okay. Tracy says, I have a question. Go ahead. All right, Cosette, if you mixed paint in a Loli Vefe bottle and don't use it for a while, will it separate? If it separates in the bottle, is it still good? It honestly depends on what you're mixing it with. Mixing with Floetrol, you can leave it in the bottle for months, no issues. If you're mixing with something else like glue, that might not last as long. I have not tested how long it will last with glue or with other things. I've noticed that other things definitely separate, but the Floetrol, no issues. Okay. Carol said, I sprayed Windsor spray varnish on my 2 pour paintings and it's wet. What to do? It must be silicone. Please tell me what you mean by it's wet. Like it seems still sticky or something? Corey, I think you're saying, is the Floetrol the same like using glue? It's not. I mean, they both act as like a pouring medium, but in my opinion, Floetrol is much, 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 much better. Okay. All right, Tracy said, I completed a clear top coat of JR Diamond coat, and it has a few small dimples in it. It was even and clear last night, but this morning it has dimples. Anyone know why this happens? I think is that a resin coat? It probably has just small particles of dust in it, unfortunately, which is why people generally recommend covering your resin piece with a box or something overnight, or you just need to be really careful about having a dust-free environment. If you go to like places that do a lot of like countertops, like even the Naughty Artisan in Vegas or wherever, they have actual drying rooms that are like a separate space, like plasticed off, or it's a whole separate room to keep the dust out of there for the final coat. So that's it. It's generally all it is dust, and it kind of haunts all of us that do resin. Okay. So Ricky says pouring medium as a thinner. It depends on what pouring medium you're using, Ricky. What ratio? So Liquitex pouring medium has a completely different ratio than using Floetrol or than using glue. I do have videos though. If you look at my Getting Started with Acrylic Pouring playlist, I have quite a few videos there on mixing paints and all the ratios. So I would check that out and look for the specific one that you're looking for. Okay. Judy says, Marcy is an amazing artist and human, but she's not good at reading minds. Actually, I'm very good at reading minds. I'm just not good at reading minds for addresses. Floetrol isn't as thick as glue. Glue has to be mixed with water. I highly prefer Floetrol. I 100% agree. Okay. It was covered. Interesting. Tracy, the only reason I know that things get dimples are just dust particles somehow got in there, unfortunately. Okay, Carol said, puddles of wet on the painting from Windsor spray varnish. I'm assuming it's silicone coming through. Can I fix this? I would just do a few more layers of spray over it. If you can actually see silicone on it, though, go ahead and you can clean it off with alcohol gently, or even soap and water gently, and then spray it again. Make sure you give it just plenty of time to dry. All right. How do you mix for tree ring? I mix my paint the same for all techniques. Just mix it the same. 2/3 Floetrol to 1/3 paint. And then how much water I add depends on the kind of paint. Some paints need no water. Most tube paints are thicker, so they will need some water. You're going for the consistency of like warm honey, melted ice cream, half and half, I guess, if you want to compare it to milk. Not low-fat milk, not non-fat milk. You don't want something too watery, but I always start with 2/3 Floetrol to 1/3 paint. The only time I make an exception is if it's really crappy paint, like a really low pigment paint, like a craft paint or something, then I'll probably do a half Floetrol, half paint. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Silicone can definitely cause dimples, but generally people don't resin things that have silicone in them. So, but silicone doesn't really cause dimples. It separates the resin. It rejects the resin, so you'll get craters and spots. The little tiny dimples are caused just from dust particles. Okay. Wendy says, what is the aim for using the torch? Just to get rid of air bubbles. It can help create cells, especially if you're using silicone. I generally don't use a torch because the air bubbles, unless you're using resin, the air bubbles will get rid of themselves. But you can. All right. Carol, have you found the Arteza pouring paints to be thin? Yes, they are a little bit on the thin side. So you just have to be a little more careful. I pour usually a little bit slower with them, like into my cup and stuff, but the colors and everything are just still beautiful. Is anybody else buffering, or is it just me? Hold on. I think it might just be me. Well, that sucks. Oh, there it is. Okay. Now I get to watch Stone Coat's promo video here. Oh, hey, Javier. Welcome. Carol says, what's your opinion of polypore with its own mica colors? Are you talking about like the color art? The color art pigments? Oh, so it's just buffering on my end. Mica is made for resin. It generally does not mix well into acrylic products. But the polypore, the primary elements is designed to mix with the polypore. It's the primary elements are basically a powdered pigment. It's a dry paint pigment, and it's activated with that polypore, if that makes sense. Ricky says, is it okay to use house paint? Sure. Yep. Lana Meadows, what's the email? info@thepainterinYou.com is my email. Make sure you include the word the. info@thepainterinYou.com. Otherwise, it will not get to me. But you can also scroll earlier in the chat, and you'll see it there, because Judy posted it for everybody. Carol says, can you combine colored resin to do something like a tree ring pour? Yes and no. You can technically do a tree ring pour with resin. However, resin is really designed to blend and mix together. So it will not, your rings won't actually stay separate. And I've tried it so many times. You can get kind of the idea of rings. So I did like a traveling tree ring pour with my split cup with resin, and that kind of worked. But yeah, it doesn't work. And here's my elephant piece. It already sold, y'all. So I hope none of you wanted it, because someone already snagged that on my Etsy today. Okay, kids, I think I am going to get going. If you enjoyed this, we can absolutely do this again. And maybe next week we'll do like a painting, and then at the end, 10 to 15 minutes of the question and answer. Do you guys like this whole question and answer period? It was definitely like less stressful for me than painting tonight. It's been a hell of a life. A heck of a life. Sorry. I try not to cuss on live videos. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please check out that Etsy sale. Go get signed up for the 50 acrylic pour techniques course. And I will see you all next time. Things hiding the button.